Gianno Caldwell, Fox News contributor, grew up in Chicago, one of those cities seeing a huge spike in violent crime and a wave of it in the last 50 days or so. Joe Grimaldi, National Vice President of the Fraternal Order of Police, is with me too. Great to see you both, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Joe, I'm going to start with you. You and I did a town hall together on policing a few months ago, and we were looking at damaged morale and a spike in police suicides, particularly on the East Coast, but across the country, recruiting was getting difficult. How is it now?
Well, it's only got worse. As I was on your show just a few months back, I highlighted how 63% of law enforcement applications were down. Well, now we're looking at that number is going to crater even further because of all the anti-police rhetoric that has been thrown around. We have morale at an all-time low. It's the worst I've ever seen it in 15 years. We have people that are eligible from retirement are walking off the job. The NYPD couldn't even staff their office high enough to deal with all the retirements. And then the worst part, Harris, truly the worst, is our young, diverse, well-educated, best-trained officers, our young ones. They are walking with their feet. They're going to find a different profession because they don't want to deal with this anymore. They are leaving. And then the elite, the people that we truly want to take this job, the ones that we are begging to take this job, they are not going to want to become a police officer. And what's that going to leave? That's going to leave the bottom of the barrel, which is only going to exacerbate the problem. And I just don't understand where we've gotten to a place in our country where why can't we support all the hardworking men and women of law enforcement who go out there, they do the job every single day with honor, and they protect their communities, but we still hold the ones that do a bad job accountable? Those things aren't mutually exclusive.
Well, look, Joe, that's been part of the issue, right? That's been the challenge. You know who those people are, and yet some of them sit there for years. Derek Chauvin, who held his knee on George Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes, had a track record. He was still there. So I hear all of that, and I want to get a different side of the story, too, from you, Gianno. Black-on-black crime, which is really the spike that we've seen. And so if things change tomorrow, if we were to get it all right and we were somehow miraculously going to satiate everybody who's got an idea in the streets, we still have to deal with that issue. And I don't see BLM, the movement or the organization, out there saying enough is enough among the people of color.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point there, and you can't say Black Lives Matter unless you're referring to everyone, I believe, personally. If we were to look at the numbers, just this past weekend, over 50 people shot since Friday, bringing over a total of 1,900 people, almost 600 more than last year. Mind you, we're only in July. The numbers continue. Now, that's an issue. That's a very big issue, and I want to make sure that we have that on record, that people should know that all Black lives do matter. Now, when we're talking about the police side of the issue, that's a whole nother consideration. And if I'm just being honest and transparent, there's been a narrative that's been pervasive in our country for a long time that Black folks are a group of sinister people who are more likely to be nefarious actors. That is seeped into law enforcement. I think about my own story. I was riding down Stony Island on the south side of Chicago when police officers pulled me over, pulled me out the car, handcuffed me, threw me in the back, searched my car without my permission, and came up to me and said, "How can you afford this car? How are you riding around with this car?" This has happened to many African Americans, and I think it's so important for people to understand the pain and frustration that exists. I'm an ardent supporter of the law enforcement. I want law enforcement to be strong. I've even worked for law enforcement in their press shop. But at the same time, we have to have a balanced conversation where all voices are heard and the pain of the past is acknowledged and we move forward together as a community. That's the most important thing, and that's why I'm thankful and honored to be a part of this conversation today.
Joe and Gianno, you have gotten the hour kicked off. Thank you so very much. And you're echoing some of what we know so many Black men across the country have experienced, and women. Senator Scott having been pulled over, he said 7 times for driving while Black.